Today, our guest is an expert of Media Monitoring Institute, Rasul Jafarov. Today, we'll discuss the monitoring of media coverage of elections. You have monitored the media coverage of elections in October, November, and December. What can you say about the media coverage of elections? We unveiled the report on monitoring results today. The report is very comprehensive. It reveals which subjects were most covered, how long the coverage lasts, the tone of coverage, and so on. During the elections, the TV broadcasting didn't help the citizens to determine their choice. The reason is very simple. The TV channel's election coverage was limited to general issues, and the coverage was only aired in news items. There were no debates, discussions on the TV broadcasting. There were only two programs focused on elections. The program on public TV, which allocated 4 minutes of free airtime for candidates, and the coverage area program on ANS TV channel. You also conducted monitoring of 6 newspapers. Which newspapers were monitored? We monitored official newspapers of state agents in Azerbaijan and Azerbaijan newspapers, which are pro-governmental newspapers. We also monitored pro-oppositional Azerlag and Yeni Msavat newspapers. The other 2 newspapers were Bizimyol and Zerkala. What were the results? Yeni Azerbaijan newspaper campaigned for ruling party and its representatives. The coverage of ruling party was positive, and the opposition received negative coverage. The response of the opposite side was not sought. It was also common for oppositional newspapers, but unlike the governmental newspapers, the oppositional ones also covered the candidates of other political parties, other than Azerbaijan Popular Front Party and Msavat Coalition. The newspaper with least election coverage was Zerkala. It is common that the pro-governmental and pro-oppositional newspapers campaign for government and opposition accordingly. But what about the Azerbaijan newspaper, which is financed from the taxes paid by citizens? In accordance with the legislation, Azerbaijan newspaper allocated free space for candidates, but it mostly campaigned for President Ilham Aliyev, who is the chairman of YAP ruling party. His visits to the regions, his speech were broadly covered. Did the Azerbaijan newspaper cover the position of the opposition and oppositional representatives? No, Azerbaijan newspaper didn't cover any of the independent or oppositional candidates, apart from free space allocated for candidates. What about the TV coverage of elections? The situation is worse in TV broadcasting. The election coverage is very little. The coverage usually includes positive comments on election. The news items didn't cover the negative comments of international organizations. Some TV channels use the smear campaign against oppositional forces. And another trend that is worth mentioning is that the TV channels are under control. The TV channels usually preferred entertainment programs. Good program in ANS demonstrated an ironical approach to the elections. ANS TV channel had stated that it will not participate in election campaign, but you mentioned its name as well. And what can you say about the election coverage in state-funded STV channel, Azerbaijan television? And what was the approach of public television, apart from the allocation of free airtime for candidates? Actually, ANS TV had stated that it would not attend paid election campaign, but it doesn't mean that it will not cover elections at all. On the contrary, the biggest election coverage was observed in ANS. As for STV, Azerbaijan television, it allocated the least airtime for elections. It didn't cover the independent and oppositional candidates. The election coverage of public TV was also broad, but it is attributed to the allocation of free airtime for candidates. But it didn't air any debate or discussion program that could help the citizens make a determined choice. Thank you for coming to our studio. Today our guest is an expert of Media Monitoring Institute, Rasul Jafarov.